is a girl. She's a star. She's got style. Steffi Star. You see her face around the town. She's popular. Steffi Star.
I'm Stephanie Weinstein.
And I'm Meredith Keach.
We have a huge guest on today.
Huge.
Bigger than life.
Bigger than, also known as the god of big.
Yeah. The god of condos.
Yeah. Jake Marcus. Welcome, Jake.
Thank you. Well, now with that,
I have to put my phone on silent. This is so exciting, Jake.
Oh, yeah. I got to put
This is exciting. Yeah.
This is like, all right. Well, first, I have a couple of announcements.
Sure. Okay.
Because I do
Complaints? Or not?
Well,
Complaints?
No, not well.
Uh-oh.
I do. Oh, I have two complaints and an announcement.
Okay.
My announcement is that the next time anybody hears me on this podcast, I will be a mother-in-law.
Congrats.
This is my last podcast, not as a mother-in-law.
Yeah. How's that make you feel?
Fine.
What's fine mean?
I'm fine. Like, I feel like I've been just brushing the whole wedding under the carpet.
So fine means you're emotionally okay, don't have any issues with it, neutral.
Oh my God. Well, I love my daughter-in-law to be.
Okay.
I can't believe Gregory's getting married.
Like bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's closing a chapter or opening a chapter?
I don't feel like it's doing anything.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Gregory's just marrying the love of his life.
Okay.
But it's just so weird. But anyway, so that's my announcement.
Yeah.
Exciting.
And I have two complaints.
Okay.
Number one, the plantar fasciitis in the foot is still going on.
Jake can totally speak to this.
I could definitely speak to that.
What? Oh my
Yeah.
God. We need to discuss.
Meredith and I ran a
I know you
marathon
guys
together.
are marathoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've run a marathon or you run it all, you are very familiar with plantar
So you
fasciitis.
guys had it? So how did it go away?
It's inescapable.
It's inescapable, and it's there's two injuries that are like very common in runners. IT band and plantar fasciitis. Foam roller is your best friend, even for the foot.
Even with the plantar fasciitis?
Yeah.
Did you go to a chiropractor at all?
I don't think a chiropractor. I think maybe a sports doctor.
Yeah, physical therapist.
But yeah.
Oh.
Put some golf balls into the freezer, and when you're home at night, pull them out and roll your foot.
All right,
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah. It's like you want to be very aggressive with it.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping with a boot in the bed.
Ooh, that's not fun.
So would
I
you
have a
agree
boot
that
that
the
keeps
therapy is kind of painful, but it makes it better?
It's painful, and like, yeah, you want to be rolling it out where it's like to the point of like some pain.
Yeah. And I know it's counterintuitive, but actually afterwards you're like,
Right,
wow,
because it probably
that hurts
stretches
so
it out.
much.
And
It stretches because basically, yeah, plantar fasciitis is like it's tightening of the bottom of the foot,
right.
and so yeah, you want to get all that out.
Yeah.
I mean, why me?
How long have you had
It's
it?
everybody.
I'm not even a runner. Now,
How'd you get it?
I'm
Yeah.
stretching my foot. I
Yeah.
walk. I have a heavy, heavy step.
Okay,
I'm
That'll
like,
do it.
boom, boom, boom. But even when I was skinny and a size 0, when I was in the office, I'd go up the steps and it'd be boom, boom. And everybody would be like, here comes Stephanie. I've always had a heavy foot.
Okay.
All right. So
Maybe I should go to like walking school.
how about you just do what we mentioned, that everybody else on the planet has it, and you just have to you have to do the work.
Yeah, golf ball.
I mean,
Stretch it out.
sorry.
Yeah.
That was a little aggressive on my behalf.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine because I do complain a lot and I don't do anything about it.
You do want to get good fitting shoes as well. Do you have good fitting? Oh, well.
They're cute though.
Actually,
They look good, yeah.
Actually, I feel better in a heel. So
that
it
makes sense to me.
Yeah, I can't wear
Okay.
flats,
Makes sense to
so I
me.
have to
If
wear
you-
some type of a heel.
Yeah, if you're more used to it, I guess that.
Well, the
helps
flats
too.
I think did me in,
Probably.
and I have so many cute flats. I didn't even get to wear this
I
season.
can't. Their shoes, I don't even. I tried on cute flats today, but they have absolutely nothing to them, and I know by 2:00 my feet are going to hurt, and I'm like, why do I want to be in pain today?
I
don't
know.
need
See,
Yeah.
these are the problems we go through, Jake. You don't even know anything about this.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. The second thing is, since you're an attorney, I'm wondering if I can do something about this.
Okay.
Anthony was twirling me on the dance floor
Uh-oh.
and banged his elbow on the top of my nose. It is now tender to the touch,
How long ago was this?
and I am angry Sunday night at the Boston Harbor Hotel. I had my first same-sex wedding, and it was incredible. Yep, so he was twirling me and elbowed me in the nose. Do I have any repercussions against Anthony? I have a doctor appointment today.
No, note for the record, please. They live together. They, by all accounts, will be together forever. And yeah, that's all.
I'd probably encourage not suing Anthony.
I was just wondering.
It would be a bad lawsuit. It'd be a tough one.
It would be a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might, but
Interesting.
I don't think you'd want to. I mean,
I was just wondering.
Yeah,
I'm
wouldn't.
really not going to do anything.
No,
but,
I
I was
figured.
wondering.
you might, but you probably.
Meanwhile,
you probably consented. And, yeah.
whatever. So anyway, so we were having some big condo issues at my condo association.
So let's frame in Jake and what he does and his background. So Jake, tell us a little bit about what your practice is, and that'll cue it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm actually wearing the shirt.
Woohoo!
Cute.
Alcock.
The
Marcus.
back, I don't know if I probably can't. Get the
Adam will
back
get a
from
shot
here.
of
So
that.
first question though, because Stephanie and I had this conversation, why is Alcott before Marcus?
Maybe before the alphabet. It was kind of just how it worked out.
Yeah.
He has my law partner Ed Alcock. He has like 30 years experience. He's been doing this for a while. He worked with my dad initially, and then he left my dad's firm after my dad had quasi-retired.
Yep.
And
We call that fake retired.
fake retired.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's been doing this.
Yeah, he has no hobbies.
He has no hobbies at all.
No.
I understand. My dad was the same.
Right.
He doesn't golf. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
He starts to watch football more, but
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Do you guys have season tickets, don't you?
We do. Yeah.
Wait, keep going. Alcott Marcus.
Alcock.
Ah.
Yeah. Back to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Alcock Marcus. So my dad started a firm, Meeb, Marcus Arico, Emmer and Brooks, where he had the Marcus at the front of the name.
Yeah.
But he ended up retiring in I think like 2018 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So he left that firm. Ed, my law partner, Alcock, was still at Meeb.
Oh, okay.
And then Ed left Meeb, and me and him were like talking, and we're like, oh, let's start, this
Shake.
Alcock and Marcus law firm. He has more experience than me, so
Yeah.
that's probably why he got
Okay.
the,
Right.
he
And
got
you
the
didn't
name
really
at the
seem
front.
to care.
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not an issue.
It's
for you.
it's an honor to have my name on
Right.
a law firm at
Right.
my
Anywhere.
experience.
Yeah.
Well,
Anytime. Yeah.
Right. Can we do a sidebar about
Sure.
Weinstein Keach?
Yeah.
How'd that come?
Right. Well, we didn't. The only reason why it's Weinstein Keach is because if it was Keach Weinstein, we would be KW.
And that's
We would be
realty
Keller
group.
Williams.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah.
our-
Yeah.
So we can't do that.
And
so.
I didn't really care. Other people do, though. People, that this is a question.
People
For me, I
can-
didn't really care.
Yeah, people can have egos about it.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't care. It was
Yeah.
And yeah, so okay. But then we started our firm. We got my dad out of retirement.
Yeah.
Got him off the couch.
Good.
He was watching too much TV.
He was
Too-
here. And he was
Right, he's
like,
too smart.
Yeah.
Right. He's
Well,
got to
that-
use that big brain of his.
That's all he has in his brain is condo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like a shame that I don't know any of that yet. But because he's been doing it for 40 years
I know.
plus, and
Right.
it's kind of impressive.
Oh, it's
Oh, my-
not kind of. I mean, he was honestly, his firm was the god of condos. I mean, as another attorney used that phrase. I mean, they created every condo doc in Massachusetts, basically.
It's crazy. Yeah, like I'll be going through like clients now, and it's my dad drafted this 40 years
Right.
ago.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
And it's also, if you look at all the law firms in like the Massachusetts area, majority of them are like the name partners are all like like off of the Meeb tree.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
started at Meeb
right,
and
right,
went,
right,
Right.
right.
like even our
Off the
firm.
Meeb tree.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's all like kind of
Offshoots.
splintered off.
Yeah.
So
Well, when you think about in real estate, so there's a number of facets of real estate that you could buy or sell. But in living, we've got single family homes,
Mhm.
condominiums, multifamilies,
Mobile homes.
mobile homes. Sorry, I forgot
Yeah.
mobile homes. And so unless you have, if you're a single family home, unless there's a homeowners association, which there would be some light rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you have to have a complete framework if you're going to build a condo or live in one. And this is an important component. Like, what are the rules and regulations here for me living here?
Yeah.
And you want them. Some people think like, oh my God, I want to live with rules and regulations, but it's fine. It's really not a big deal. And so they created all of that in all of Massachusetts, which is so cool.
And I think beyond.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Throughout the country.
Yeah.
Definitely. So he's still involved on the National Task Force for Surfside. Which is so he's involved with a group. Yeah, so he's
is that Miami?
That was in Miami.
Condo?
So and that's kind of actually a lot of like the condo world.
So what is it you're talking about for our listeners? Surfside.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Surfside was the Champlain buildings in it was actually a neighborhood in Surfside, and the actual towers were called the Champlain Towers, and I think it was 3 years ago, so June of 2021, and one of the buildings collapsed.
With people in it.
Yeah.
Tragically.
98 people, unfortunately, died.
It's horrible.
It was absolutely devastating.
It wasn't a fire. It wasn't anything. It was structure.
It was just structural integrity. And a lot of the laws have now changed to the point where basically, there is requirements to have these structural integrity tests, have these inspections, have reserves, which are basically to defer maintenance. Or have maintenance for the future.
Yeah.
A reserve is like the rainy day fund.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those, like statutorily, to make sure nothing like this ever happens again.
Yeah.
Even if it was a 1 in a million chance that this happens, the condo world can't afford for this to happen again. No building could afford for this to happen again.
Right.
So when you buy into a condo, and I don't want to blame anyone as to why it happened because it's a freak accident.
Yeah.
But if you skirt some of the requirements, or if you're not like super involved with making sure every inspection is done, get an engineer in there to like look at the structural integrity. Because a layperson, you can't look at like a wall and be like, oh, this is having issues.
Right.
So just to make sure that all of that is kind of satisfied going forward.
Yeah.
There's been a whole body of law created in Florida specifically because that's a lot of high rises.
Yeah.
But also there's the CAI National Task Force, which is based on the Surfside collapse, and my dad's a part of that. So
so it's a positive result out of horrible tragedy, right? So it has these ripple effects. This event happens, and then that's where the lawyers come in and say, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. So we're going to set up these parameters.
Oh, totally.
And that's what your dad and his firm started, right, is precedent, right? So Stephanie and I sell a condo. I have one right now. First thing the lawyers are going to ask for, the broker on the other side, is where are the condo docs so we can take a look at them.
Yep.
And it starts there. So 40 years from now, those will still be in effect. And this result. The Warwick station fire was the same thing, with the same type of ripple effect with regulation.
That was in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah. 100 people died.
Yeah. So exactly. Oftentimes, unfortunately, it takes a tragedy to get some progress.
Yeah.
And that is the case here. And so there's been a lot more just across the condo world. It's been flipped on its head. Because even like lending requirements are now a lot more stringent.
Right.
As a result of Surfside.
All as a result. I mean, I would say pretty much 90% of the reason why a lot of changes are being made is because of Surfside.
Interesting.
So
and so your dad started this, and then what was the catalyst for you to go to law school? Just osmosis?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was just, he was doing it.
Yeah.
I might as well.
He made it look fun.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know if fun's the word. It made it look rewarding.
Yeah.
Now you're licensed in Florida and Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Is Steve?
No. I have, that's a one up I have on him.
Ooh.
If
So
there's any.
get it.
Is your firm in both Massachusetts and Florida?
Yes, that's actually an exciting announcement. Was it's a satellite office, but we started we added a Miami office as of January of this year.
Wow,
So-
congratulations.
Jake, mazel
That is so great.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
so
you.
exciting. Will
Yeah.
you be heading down to Miami during the winter?
All the time. Yeah, that's the plan.
Do you still have your place there?
I do, but I've been trying to rent it out.
Yeah.
And it's in Miami Shores, which is like a more residential area.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to like rent it out while I'm not there.
Right.
Like Airbnb?
Yeah.
How's that go?
Airbnb, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
You know what you might be better off doing is renting a room. That's what everybody's doing now.
Rent a room?
Rent a room.
Meredith loves rent a room.
What's rent a room?
No, just renting, as if, think of when you were in college and it's a 4-bedroom and 4 guys go into a place and each rent a room.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
It's what it's caused brouhaha. Stephanie had it in a neighborhood.
No, okay. Tony did this. He was helping out somebody in Fall River rent a room. So he was all excited. He rented it to a homeless person. I'm like, that's really great, Anthony. That's so nice. And she didn't even have a bed or anything. He goes, I have a blow up mattress for you. He picked her up on the side of the road, basically with her bags, and got a blow up mattress. She goes, who slept on this? He's like, my daughter slept on it once. She said, fine. So, and she moved into one of the rooms. Now, the owner of the house he had certain rules. So you weren't allowed to eat in your bedroom.
Okay.
You were not allowed to wear shoes in the house.
Okay.
You could only eat, in the kitchen area.
Yeah, it's like having a kid.
Yeah.
Like
those are fair rules.
guidelines.
Well, people weren't following
Well,
the
the
rules.
reason why
Everybody
that-
got kicked out, Jake.
The reason why that renting a room is working right now is because, one, rentals are so hard to come by.
Yeah.
And they're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So a girlfriend of mine is a state trooper, and we had this conversation. She said, after my divorce, I rented an awesome room in a house on the Cape. We were walking distance to the beach. She said there was another woman that rented another bedroom. She said it cost her, and this was years ago, it was $800 a month for her. And she had her space and a bathroom, and it was good to go. She said, I didn't need to rent a whole house, nor did I want that type of responsibility. However, and you'll appreciate this, Stephanie had a situation recently where she was contacted because the house that she sold was in a neighborhood that had a homeowners association. The new owners were advertising, don't do that, that they were renting a room.
Oh, like
and it got the
subletting.
neighbors up in arms because they said, according to our homeowners association, you can't rent. And
she was using my photos.
yeah.
Wow.
So that, then that becomes a problem. But the benefit of renting a room would be that you could still use it because you're only renting one room. And if it's a 3-bedroom, you keep the other 2 or whatever. Just this seems to be a trend that we're seeing. I had another friend contact me whose son bought a house. He said, find out for me. He wants to rent one room in his house. What's the going rent for a room? Mm-hmm. And there's actually metrics that you can look at for that.
What do you think about that?
No, I like the idea from a renter or a landlord.
Owner.
Right.
Owner, landlord.
Well, because you're not right. So, but when you go to Florida, you might have a stranger living with you. Are you okay with that? You're fine.
If they're respectful.
Right.
That's the thing. I looked at like doing Airbnb like very short term.
Yeah.
Not a good idea in Miami.
Yeah.
It's going to be like...
You need someone who's going to be there, has a little more skin in the game.
So
but in that sense, if you had a state trooper living in your house, you'd probably be fine with it.
Yeah. Oh,
someone
absolutely.
who's just recently divorced, needs a space. They work 12-hour shifts.
Well, Meredith, that's
kind
not
of
so easy to
perfect
find.
tenor. No,
yeah,
it's not.
it's hard.
Not.
It
It's
is.
not.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So far, I've been lucky with like some of the tenants I've gotten.
Oh, good.
But it's been like family, like
right.
A couple, and then if they have kids or whatever.
Yeah,
so
and
you
somebody
should let us know about this because our team goes to Miami all the time.
Oh, perfect.
Well, the other thing is too, a lot of people work remote, so who wouldn't love to work in Miami for a couple months?
That's that. I thought it was no
brilliant.
brainer. Yeah,
Right.
It'd be like perfect spot for people to come in. But to your point, as to you asked, what do I think about short-term rentals generally? That is just my area of law. It's a huge like
issue.
What do
issue
you mean?
or like trend.
Airbnb problems?
Airbnb problems, cracking down on short-term rentals. Like I don't think Massachusetts has really a specific law carved out in the statute. So it basically comes down to what the governing documents will say.
But aren't there some communities and states, or maybe it's communities, municipalities individually who don't allow Airbnb? I'm hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. That's
More
a big
and more.
thing in California. It's like, well, California's pretty lenient on it, but it goes county by county. So they can decide, okay, I don't know what counties in, or in Massachusetts be like Suffolk County versus Bristol County, whatever. And it'll vary depending on the area you're in.
Now, is that the hotels lobbying to not have Airbnbs?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there's encouragement for and against with everything.
Well, because they get paid. The municipality gets paid through Airbnb as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it's self-monitored, I was told, so that if your neighbor's up in arms and then they go to the town and complain to it, then they have to crack down. But otherwise, they want to look the other way because they're getting paid.
No, that makes sense. And then I mean, as to the municipalities, that would make a ton of sense why, they would allow it.
Yeah.
As for condos specifically, sometimes they just don't want to deal with the, in and out transient, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're putting some new stuff into place where we are for renting. You have to have at least a year lease.
In your community.
Yes.
That's that's common.
Yeah.
Just because you don't want. It's the same with like myself renting out in Miami.
Right.
I don't want people in there for a weekend just to party it up in Miami
And trash your house.
I mean, let's not forget my neighbor had an ankle bracelet. He was a renter with a Rolls Royce in the driveway, in the garage.
They took him away though, didn't they?
They did take him away. And then we had the 2 guys move in that got busted with cocaine and $300,000 of cash. That's right, people.
Sounds
That's
like a
where
wild place.
That's where I
Those
live.
are also the worst case
Wait.
scenarios. How many tenants do we know on a day-to-day basis, right? Who are perfectly normal, law-abiding citizens.
Well, so we're putting in, so my condo association, we went into shambles.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody and he goes, you need to bring law and order back to your condo. And I'm like, I know just the person. So we called Steve and Jake.
Yeah.
And that's it. And we're in such good hands now. So when I called back this particular person to tell him who was representing us, he's like, honey, you're all set now.
Yeah.
You don't need me anymore. You're
Good.
good. Yep. So Steve and Jake are doing their thing. Really, Jake, we're working with Jake now. And you've been unbelievable, Jake.
Oh, thank you.
Our condo association is going to be better than ever. And because of you, it's going to raise the values of our condos.
Oh, no question.
Yep. We have a new management in place that Steve and Jake recommended. And we interviewed them because I'm on the board now. So this is very serious for me. And they were incredible. And so we're all working together as a team. And literally things are all getting taken care of.
Well, we say that tongue in cheek that, it's serious for you, but really likely one of the largest investments that you own is your home. And you saw it going into shambles and you were wondering where your condo fees were going.
Right.
Your stairs in each one of the units were literally crumbling. And you started to ask questions.
Right.
And
We uncovered some stuff.
Yeah.
Like that we have zero money in reserves.
Yeah.
And where'd all the money go? And lots of other things.
So and now you're a board member too,
I am a board member.
Yeah.
Yes.
which is something I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Well, so far it's been okay. I haven't. No one has said anything to me yet. I kind of stay undercover, and there's only 12 of us.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's me and this other woman, cute Miriam.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
reciprocal. You guys have been fantastic to deal with.
Oh, thanks, Jake.
Nice. Yeah.
Jake, I have I'm gonna stump you with this one.
Okay.
Okay. So I live in a condo association, as you know, and we are in the back of another condo association. Okay. So for me to get out to the main street, I have to go through the main condo association to get to the main street. Now, at the time, I had a dog. Now, my condo association allowed dogs, but not on my lawn. But the other condo association that I had to walk through didn't allow dogs. So I would often walk my dog and get screamed at. What was the answer?
Your dog has to fly.
Yes. I had to call Steve Marcus. I think I stumped Steve.
That's
I go,
a tricky
Steve,
one.
you're the one that wrote the condo laws. What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to walk my dog?
Right.
It's got to fly.
Gotta fly. That's it.
Yeah.
No.
Rosie had to have wings.
I am
I don't know, it's a
dealing.
crazy one.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
that's a tough one.
I know. You don't have to answer.
That's
But-
a lawyer question, totally, where you're like, I don't know, I got to go talk to a lawyer and have them figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we can't figure it out.
You
We're
can't
like,
figure it out.
But
Right.
you do.
Right.
But you do.
We got, yeah, we find
Steve's
a way.
like, well, I don't remember what he said, but it was some long thing. I'm like, thanks, Steve.
We are dealing with another property that has a similar issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And what we ended up doing is we had to work with the other condo
Yeah.
because they basically used an elevator, which was a shared elevator, and one didn't and one did allow dogs.
Oh.
So, and the other one had some people who were complaining
Because they
big
didn't
time.
want
They were
dogs
like,
in their
"Yeah, we don't-
elevator.
I don't want these dogs in that. What?
Oh.
I guess what caused it is like a pit bull walked in one day or
Oh,
something
right.
that scared people.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Which pit bulls are so innocent too.
They're so
which is
cute.
sucky that they get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Right.
But in that, we basically ended up drafting a easement
Yeah.
just for that purpose. A dog can be allowed on the elevator.
Oh, interesting.
So
Well, and I live like an elderly community.
Yeah.
So when I first moved there and I started walking Rosie, people would stop me and say, "Is your dog registered?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's independent."
as a voter.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you would have to do. You'd need an easement, I suppose, Steph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah. You'd have to figure out some way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because we have to cohabitate.
Yeah.
Right.
That's I think the biggest thing about condos is you're buying into a community, and if you don't like the rules, then
There's
sometimes
nothing you
It's
can
not
do.
work
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
And we keep trying to tell people, you're not saving money by living in a condo.
Oh, you're not. I
No,
know.
it's just more convenient. You
more
don't have to
convenient.
take care
It's
of
a
the lawn.
lifestyle.
You don't take
Yeah.
care of your siding. You don't
Yeah.
take care. But right, it's a lifestyle.
So there's something big that we've been on the Fannie Mae, or not been on, but we've been covering and trying to get ahead of it. Is the Fannie Mae blacklist? Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
I'm scared.
Blacklist doesn't sound good, right?
No.
No, what
Yeah.
is it?
It's well, so there's some lists that you want to be. And my dad made this joke. He goes, some list you want to be on, like the GQ top models, which my dad is on.
Obviously.
You can picture him making that joke.
Of course.
But there's some lists you don't want to be on, such as the blacklist.
Yeah.
What is this?
I know, isn't it scary? So the Fannie Mae blacklist so Fannie Mae is they represent 70% of loans. They're a big lender, quasi-government agency that provides lending to buyers for purchases of houses. Freddie Mac is the other one, or Freddie and Fannie I think make up the 70%, but it's under the FHFA umbrella. So basically the Fannie Mae blacklist, and this ties back to Surfside. The lenders were so afraid to lend to buyers or properties. So for condos especially, and it mostly relates to high rises in light of Surfside, they won't lend if you're on this blacklist and you get placed on it. You, as a condo, as a community, you get placed on it either for inadequate reserves, inadequate structural integrity, inadequate insurance. Condotels, which are transient properties, which we're talking about, is also a reason you can be on it. All of these there's like 9 listed reasons why you could be on it, and they won't lend to you. Yeah.
Jake, how are you going to protect my condo?
No, I know. Well, I think you're good for now.
We have stair
So
issues. We
let
have
me just
no
put
reserves.
this. Let me put this in owner's terms when it rolls over to the real estate agent.
Petrified.
What that means for our listeners is it means that your property that you currently live in and is your likely the largest investment of your life.
Yep.
You now can't sell it.
You can
Unless
sell
you
it
sell to a
for
cash
cash.
buyer
Right.
or maybe your local lender who's willing to
Exactly.
take a risk. I actually just had to go through this because of the insurance changes.
Yeah.
Hard money.
And the
Yeah.
so it basically just devalued. And if you have 12 units in a condominium and your neighbor is getting divorced and they have to sell their property, well, it was worth $500,000 today, they're going to take $400 because they have to sell. And so when the cash buyer comes along, it's just going to keep devaluing.
Yep.
Wow.
Jake,
So-
who is who's putting condos on the blacklist?
So the reason you end up on a blacklist, which no one wants to end up on, is because of when you fill out a lender questionnaire, which I'm sure you guys have probably seen
Yep.
the questionnaires.
Of course.
Hate them.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're
And who
terrible.
pays for them? We always come up.
Yeah,
The
we fight.
seller doesn't want
Buyer,
to pay
seller.
for it. The
Yeah.
buyer doesn't want to
Yeah.
pay for it.
Oh yeah, and we don't want to give our services for free on it, but sometimes we do, and we get the agent for the buyer or seller coming to us all the time with what's the deal with if they see like a structural integrity issue or if they see like construction going on, they're gonna ask us, and we're like, well, we can provide if there's that's another reason, pending like litigation based on like construction defects.
Oh.
So they'll come to us for those and be like, what's the status of this litigation?
Jeez.
Oh my God, I'm a wreck.
Yeah, it's not fun. But
Wow.
yeah, and as a board member, you have a fiduciary duty to make sure you're maximizing your property value.
Yeah. making sure that you take care of that.
I'm gonna
you know, it's funny.
Well, you're in good hands. We'll make sure you guys are good.
Keep us off that blacklist,
We will.
Jake.
Mhm.
Can I insert a story about Stephen Marcus here?
Yes,
Yeah.
always.
So I was on the Community Preservation Commission, which I'm still on. Community Preservation Commission in Easton basically funds the Affordable Housing Trust. And I was not happy for a long time about the Affordable Housing Trust because I didn't think that they were doing anything, which they weren't at the time. They weren't doing anything, and we just kept giving them money to do nothing. And around that time, your dad and I had a conversation about affordability and condos. And in our purview, condos in our area were not FHA or VA approved. Therefore, FHA and VA lending, it couldn't happen. And the reason being is because the condo associations didn't want to spend the money to get that certification. So your dad we had this conversation about the easiest way to make some affordable housing in a community like Easton is the condo market because it's your entry level. And if you want to get even entry level to entry level, make them affordable so that you could, a veteran could buy it with 100% financing, or you could use FHA at 3% down. Perfect. So your dad did a huge deep dive into this. And I was all upset about the Affordable Housing Trust. They weren't doing anything. So all of a sudden I got a call from Stephen Marcus one day. When you get a call from Stephen Marcus and he tells you to do something, guess where I found myself? On the open seat on the Affordable Housing Trust. He said, Meredith, there's an open seat and I want you to apply for it. And I was like, and there I sat, and I learned very quickly about the red tape that the Affordable Housing Trust had to go through to get anything done. Yeah. And now they've come so far with it's magnificent what they've done and learning to navigate the system. But I was so thankful that he did that because it really gave me a different perspective of actually sitting somewhere. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have listened to anybody else. But he was like, you got to go sit on this board.
It's important that we have people like you who board member and to sit on an open seat just because you're commanded to do so.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's important that you do these things though, because if we don't have people doing these,
it's so important.
It's gonna, not another Surfside, but bad things happen.
Yeah. And they're not massive commitments when you're a volunteer board member. I mean, would I like to be a board member getting, $100,000 for something?
Absolutely.
Like a lot of folks out there? Yeah, I would. But volunteer board member, it's a meeting a month.
Yeah.
Right? And you add your voice and your opinion and your thoughts. Steph, had you not gotten involved, imagine what your association would look like right now. Someone could not only get hurt, but the whole complex would be devalued.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And we were on the verge of losing insurance. Like it was a mess.
It was a mess.
And
exactly. And you got involved. I mean, it's critical.
I'm really proud of myself.
You should be.
You should be.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
As I said earlier, I don't, on my worst enemy, I'm like, I wouldn't want you to be a board member.
Now all the financials, they're like, so Stephanie, what do you think? I'm like, huh? Like, that's not my forte, folks.
Yeah, but you know how to call people in.
Well, right. Yeah. So they're like, well, what do you think we should do for the monthly payment and all that stuff? So that's where I'm like, I defer to somebody else for that. I just want it's all fixed.
That's how I don't have any value. I defer to others and try to delegate as much as possible.
I delegate everything.
So talk about your practice again. Where are you located? It's you and Ed, or do you have other attorneys working with you? How's that go?
So we've been up and running for about 2.5 years at this point. It started, Ed, contacted myself. He had a few other in his group at Mead that were also making the jump.
Okay.
Norm Orban was one of them. Ellen Shapiro, another. Dina Pepjonovich, who is our operations manager. That was kind of our core group. It was about 5 of us, and we started this thing and started doing it. And 2.5 years in, we now have 17 people.
Wow. And so who employs you?
I guess I'm self-employed. Okay. Or Ed and I. Yep. Yeah.
And then, but an association would hire you, or an individual.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Both?
Yeah. Sorry. Usually, so our specialty is condos and HOAs. But we also, as you mentioned, we do zoning stuff. We look into, we have Sean Regan, who's the Boston kid. He has a lot of ties in the city, a lot of ties outside of the city and greater Boston area. And he's really good at getting looking into permits, looking at zoning issues, and kind of expediting permit searches, or getting the right things in place to make sure you can do what you got to do, whatever it is. So we deal both. We generally do represent a condo association board, which is in Massachusetts is trustees, and we look to represent the association and help for the betterment of the community as a whole. And that's, as a board member, that's what you're kind of.
Yeah. So people out there, if you have a crappy association, you need to get that into shape. You need to call Jake. They really have been unbelievable.
So for you, Steph, the first step
was to call Steve Marcus,
call the attorneys.
and then call Jake.
Got it.
And then sometimes I'd be emailing Jake, and Steve couldn't help himself because he's like, Jake's
Oh,
the
yeah.
lead on this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bye, Steve.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jake. And then Steve couldn't help himself, and he would
can't.
sometimes insert an email.
He does it. It's almost like
he can't help it.
I know. Sometimes
right?
I'm like, I see something and I'm like, I need to think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to think
But
about it.
He already has it.
He's already
in
got it in his brain.
so-
Right. So he can't help it.
Yeah.
And
I'm
he's got
familiar
nothing
with that.
better to do. So,
Right.
yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
I just giggle to myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, it's great. I love having him there, and he provides some great insight.
Oh, it's brilliant.
He can talk a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah, he can. He's got some good stories.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what's fun about him.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Now, why can't they rent your place in Florida, Jake?
My parents?
Yeah. Steve and Care.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Say, I have a
don't
great
know.
place for
Yeah.
you guys.
I feel so they actually did try the Florida.
I know they did. That's when you were living down there permanently.
Exactly.
They couldn't stand being away from you for so long.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, now
they
I'm
can't take
mostly
it.
here. Yeah.
Right. So now they really don't have a need to go to Florida. But if you're going to be down there for the winter, they would rent from you.
We could be roommates.
You could
Where's
be
your
roommates.
practice? Here.
It's in Braintree. So we're in Braintree. Yeah.
Same
so
location as me?
It's like across the street.
Cool.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because we're competitors. My dad always says, try to keep it civil, try
Yeah.
to keep it friendly.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
important to do. I mean,
There's enough business for everybody.
there's so much.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so much. And we have our Miami stuff going on now
Yeah.
too. We're trying to build there.
Yeah.
There's for how many there are in Massachusetts, there's even more in Florida.
Attorneys
well,
or condos?
not even attorneys, condos.
Oh, right.
Like
right.
10 times more.
Right. Right.
It's absurd how many condos, HOAs there are. And the body of law there is being like, because in light of Surfside and some other there was actually a board down there, the biggest board in Miami-Dade County, or biggest association in Miami-Dade County. So this HOA called Hammocks HOA.
Yeah.
And there was a group of board members that were involved or allegedly involved in a embezzling scheme.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so they made a lot of money and then they went to jail.
That's so exciting.
Embezzling the association funds?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, that's just not enough to go to jail for.
yeah.
That's
right?
not going to happen to me. We got nothing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think
I
they
can't embezzle anything.
because it was like a 4,000 unit condo or
Oh
HOA.
my God.
They were privy to millions of dollars.
People are
So-
such
So it was big
criminals.
money.
It ended up being a multi-million-dollar scheme, and
Oh, jeez.
allegedly, again,
Yeah.
this is all
Allegedly.
still in
Right.
the legal system.
Got it.
But because of that's another reason. The Florida body of law, there's like new education requirements in Florida. So you would have to like go to school be a board member in Florida.
Really?
No, I'm embellishing, but you have to do like a few hours of like required courses.
Really?
Yeah. So
I'd be nervous. I wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
well, you don't have to take an exam. You just have to-
Boring, too.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be really unless you're my dad, he'd be
Right.
like first in line ready
Yeah.
to take the class.
He would love
He'd
it.
probably be teaching it.
Yeah,
you-
that's true.
Did you take the Miami board? Did you take the Florida boards or Massachusetts when you first graduated?
So I ended up okay, for background a little bit more. So I went to how did I even end up in Florida? I lived in Easton my whole life basically
Yeah.
because I went to Stonehill.
Like Meredith.
Yeah. Did you guys go to Stonehill too?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
UMass.
Okay. Yeah. So I was in Easton.
Did you live
even
at
during-
Stonehill?
Easton.
I did. My parents made me. They were like, you can't live at home. You got to get a college experience.
You were pretty quiet when you were younger, though.
I was very quiet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I ran cross country at OA. That kind of got me out of my shell a little.
Yeah.
Because I was captain for the XC team with Neil Levine.
Yep.
I had great co-captains. And you know Neil. He's awesome.
Yep.
McGuire's, all that.
Yep. Amazing coach.
Great coach.
We should bring him on.
Yeah, we should.
He'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gave me a lot of confidence when I was shy and just young kid in Houston.
Yeah.
Runner who's usually the wimpy runners. So I wasn't like a big football player. I wasn't I had friends on the football team who were like the jocks, but I was more quiet, stuck to myself.
I mean, not for nothing, until you would see Jake run.
Jake, you are
when you would
so
see
fast.
Jake run, it really, I don't know if you still keep up those numbers, but
I'm not that fast.
It was
Jake,
inspirational watching.
on.
It was. You're a strong runner.
Jake, how fast was your fastest mile?
Just under 4:30.
Okay, Jake.
But listen, we had Mike Moverman on my team who ran like
of course you can always compare yourself to
Jake,
someone
he was 4:08 mile. Like,
but there was something about your stride. I still remember it from the marathon run when you were out with the.
Oh yeah, I did lead the marathon.
You did,
at one time,
yeah. It was really
Jake.
incredible.
That was cool.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But still, I see so many faster runners, and I'm like,
and not for nothing,
Jake,
you helped.
come on.
You helped raise $1 million for Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America. $1 million, folks, on, as Stephen would say, Jake's legs.
Yeah, and the heart of
Jake is a superstar.
Yeah, it was pretty
you're
good.
making me blush.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, so coming out of high
so
school,
coming out of high
cross-country,
school,
Neil Levine.
Yeah. So
Brought up your
Levine helped me.
confidence.
Yeah, helped me like be part of a team, be a leader on a team, all that.
Nice.
Which was great.
Yeah.
It was great to kind of be on that team and be a part of it. And then I went to Stonehill, ran cross country there for a couple years.
Jake, why Stonehill? You didn't want to be far from your parents? Trust me.
Because remember, he wasn't out of his shell yet.
Well, Alexa
pretty
didn't want to
much,
go to
yeah.
college.
Yeah.
Alexa did not want to leave me at all.
Where did she end up going?
Oh, please.
a couple different ones.
Started out at
Massachusetts
UMass
schools.
Dartmouth, then she went to Bridgewater State, and then she ended up graduating UMass Amherst.
She lives in Dorchester?
Yes.
I see it when I run.
I know.
actually.
Oh, you do?
Just that one time, but yeah.
Oh, because then sometimes she'll see you out. And, she'll say,
And at the bars,
I
too.
saw Jake Marcus.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's adorable.
Yeah, I see her at the local, watering holes
Buddies?
in Dorchester.
So you
I saw
graduated.
her at Buddies as well when I ran into you
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Ah, see? Okay, so you graduate Stonehill. You ran cross country there.
Ran cross.
Then did you go right to Florida?
Not right away. So I ended up working I switched halfway through at running cross country and I went over to marathons and then was doing it.
Yep.
We ran Boston together.
Yep.
That was great.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
It was one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was amazing.
Meredith's like, can you take my calls? I'll be busy for the next 12 hours running.
Yeah.
I'm like, Meredith, I got you.
I mean, all
you did was
I
run.
kept my own pace.
It's incredible.
I was with Fred Murray. We ran together. We started with Marty.
Marty, yeah.
But we raised money, obviously, for Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America.
Mm-hmm.
But what to me in that particular race, what was so inspiring, was ordinarily 27,000 people run. So we ran the year after the bombing.
Yeah.
And that year they allowed 36,000 people to run because so many people wanted to run for different charities. And so I'm not an elite runner. I raised money in order to get my entrance. And we raised a lot of money for Crohn's Colitis, which was incredible. But at one point I was in the race and I look around and I thought, my God, everybody had their whatever organization or whatever inspiration that they were running for, they were wearing it. And we were at like 17, 18, 19 miles, where those are the toughest miles when you're in a marathon. You're not quite up there in the 20s yet where you know you're going to finish and you're just slugging it through. And I just thought, my God, in that moment, I understood why when people are near the finish, people will carry you across or they'll crawl across or whatever, because at that point, it's no longer about them. They made a commitment to a community of people that they raised funds for or they're inspired by or they love, and they were going to finish that marathon no matter what. And that's what that race was about. It was about something greater than you. And when you're a part of that, God, man, there's nothing bigger in life than that.
Yeah. No, it really
Meredith, that was beautiful.
that was, yeah. No, that's
and we should just end the show.
yeah. You just encapsulated the marathon life in general in such a good way.
All right,
that
folks.
was beautiful.
Thanks for coming, Jake. Right.
Yeah,
that
I know.
was
Yeah,
beautiful.
that was so good. That was amazing. But that is what makes the Boston Marathon so great. That is what I have kind of found value in distance running. You're running for something, especially when you're running for a charity like Crohn's and Colitis Foundation or whatever your cause is.
Yep.
It is just such a you realize it's more important. Like it's almost like you hear in sports. It's like, and none of us are going to be playing in the NFL next week or for the Patriots. Maybe if they keep up at this rate. But they always say the name on the front is more important than the name on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, they're making millions. But we're doing this for fun, and we're doing it for charity. We're doing a marathon for fun. We're running hours on end for fun. And that's the thing, especially that year, it was like, I remember the hype videos watching before that. Like, I remember all the emotions, like at the start line, the finish, like some of the survivors, some of the people who were there. Like, just such a rewarding experience where you could put in, the hours of training, the grueling winter of training in Boston. And then you don't know how it's going to be on race day because it's April in New England.
Right. Anything goes.
Yeah, it could be a deluge, like a rainstorm. It could be the first time I did it was 2012, and it was 80 degrees after a full winter in Boston. But that, I just remember the runners. It was, as you said, more runners than usual. And everyone came back stronger. The whole community came together. The USA chants, the Boston Strong chants.
And there was nervousness too. There was a massive police presence. I mean, SWAT teams on every roof. So there was this element, and people had been killed in a bombing the year before. And there was all types of nervousness that something else could happen. But when you make that commitment, you're there and everybody is there, and your goal is to finish. And that's it.
Yeah. No, it really speaks to the resilience of the city of Boston.
Absolutely.
Speaks to the resilience of you, Meredith, the runner.
Yeah, right. The individual.
You're like all, and just the collective 36,000 runners that were running for a cause.
What was your time on that race, Jake?
Oh, what was my time?
Come on, you remember.
Probably like 2:47.
Yeah. I was like 4 or 5 hours.
I don't know. My best is 2:35. I won't touch that again.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so fast.
2 hours.
I know. It's amazing.
I mean, but
Jake.
the best runners are like 2 hours.
Okay, Jake. Well, first of all, most people in their lifetime could never do that.
Yeah.
You've got to give yourself credit.
Let's talk a little bit about how you came out of your shell a little bit more.
Okay.
So you
went down to Miami and never looked back.
Oh, right. So how did you end up leaving Steve and Carol and having the strength to go to Miami?
Yeah. So I started working. I was a finance major at Stonehill, and I worked at Brown Brothers Harriman, which is it's a custodial bank mostly in Boston. So I was doing entry-level job there in finance. I started thinking about law school, started thinking about, that path. And as I was applying to law schools, I was like, why don't I make this like enjoyable? I went to Stonehill down the street.
Time for me to get out of here.
Yeah. So I was like, let me get out of here. I had a good buddy in Miami who was like a kind of safety blanket. All right, if I go, I at least have one friend.
Yep. That's all you need.
So I knew I at least had one friend locked in. And I'm like, all right, Miami seems fun. I love football. They used to have a good college football team. They are actually, I think they're going to be, keep an eye on them this year.
Note.
All right,
college football. If you want a college football, actually Boston College looks good this year.
What about
too.
USF, South Florida?
Oh, they're playing. Miami's playing USF this weekend.
I graduated from USF.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, we digress.
So Miami, I went. Good football. Looked fun. I mean, I got down there and I'm like, did a campus tour, and I'm like, this place is gorgeous.
Right.
They have like pools on campus. Yeah.
Please, that's how I felt.
People are walking around in their bathing suits. Like, it's just, it's a whole different world.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's not really my style. But then I'm like,
I'm gonna go for it.
I can make it my style.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not a
Jake.
big beach guy, but like I'm like, all right. So I went down. By the way, rent at that point was cheaper, like by far. It was like just because Boston's a lot more saturated.
Right.
So living in Boston at that time, rent was actually more expensive for like a studio basement, like next to Boston Medical Center, compared to like a high rise overlooking, the South Beach. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was living on the 34th floor overlooking Miami Beach, and I was paying less than living in a dungeon.
Wow.
On Tremont Street.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, this is a pretty good lifestyle. 1L year was tough. But my dad kind of always kept me kind of even keel about it. He's like, just put in the work. You're going to pass. You'll be fine. But enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So I made sure to go out to games, network, do all that.
So you kind of forced yourself to socialize. You put yourself in an environment that you were happy in.
Yep.
And that helped you kind of, I mean, I don't make it sound like you had like some issue here. I don't. I mean, you were just a quiet kid.
Yeah, no, totally.
And so coming out, it's I don't know, something to glean from. Like how do you kind of make yourself be happy and want to communicate with other people? And this is find an environment where you like the people, you like the location, and it was enough. You like the football, which you love football.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the catalyst, it sounds like.
It totally was. And then, I started, so I did take the Florida bar and Massachusetts at the same time, just to kind of, those are the only states.
Oh, you can do that?
It was like the last time. Well, I'll tell you about that. It was the last time they offered it that way. Now it's like the UBE. You can take like one state and it kind of is reciprocal for a lot of states. But Florida, you have to take. They don't want people like waving in and retiring there. So I ended up the way it worked was Florida Tuesday night.
Like the whole test?
Yeah. So it's 6-hour days for each portion. So there's 6 hours on the Tuesday for Florida itself. Wednesday is the multi-state, which is that technically converts to other states, but you take it in Florida.
Jake.
I'll tell you the worst part was I was leaving Wednesday from the exam room from Florida. I'm like, I got to go catch a flight to go take Boston on Thursday.
Jake, I don't.
So
that
3
is
days of 6-hour
incredible.
exams?
Yeah, my brain was fried by that.
I don't know
tough.
how you kept track of Boston, Florida.
Well, don't forget too, I mean, he was coming out of schooling for 8 years.
Yeah.
I know, but so Kim's daughter, Jordan, I mean,
Yeah.
she went to New York Law. She studied Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5.
Yeah, so that's how you prep.
Yeah.
It's your Super Bowl.
It is, yeah. It was like you just locked down for 10 weeks. It sucked. But
and you're young.
yeah.
It's not like us doing it now.
Oh, I couldn't take it again.
It'd be rough
Yeah.
doing it later in life.
That's why I was like, just take it once.
Yeah, get it done.
Get it over with.
Yeah, smart.
But yeah, so I took those and then I practiced in Florida. I was doing like property damage stuff. So similar, working with some condos. Not exactly like, counsel for condo associations directly, but some litigation here and there. A lot of insurance backed counseling. But basically did that for a few years and then spoke with Ed about 2.5 years ago. So cool. Started this thing, and Ed has, given me a lot of latitude to be more. So what you did say earlier was like, I was just reserved back in high school. Yeah. And one of my friends was like, I can't picture you being a like business developer person for like your firm now, but that kind of getting out and going to Miami has helped me branch out and be more like go to these events and try to like talk the talk.
Jake, remember we partied in Miami? So I met your parents.
He's like,
well, no, was Steve there? I might have just met Carol for dinner. I think some of her relatives were in.
Oh yeah,
they have an English accent.
Yep.
And I was starting to talk in an English accent, and then I got in trouble from Anthony, who said, just between you and me and text, don't do that. And I said, Carol, can I talk in an English accent? Anyway, so then, and then we met you and some other people out.
Yeah, we met at, I think it was, I know where we met. Oh, it's a funny name.
Yeah, it was a funny name. But
well, it would be odd
so
to me if you remained kind of a quiet, reserved guy in your adulthood, because, you grew up with such social parents.
Oh yeah.
I mean, very social. And even all the money that you guys raised for Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America, you had these huge, magnificent events where you'd really kind of be a jerk if you didn't come out of your shell after a bit.
Oh, totally.
And so, that was apparent to see too. And,
Yeah.
And really, that's just growing up is what,
Growing
what you
up,
did.
yeah.
You're a big boy now, Jake.
You're a big
I am.
boy with your own law firm.
You're a big boy now.
Yeah, exactly. But like, that's the thing. It was like, I don't know if it was resisting it or like, it just was uncomfortable. Or
Also in a
whatever.
shadow, right? Because your parents
Yeah.
are such big people. I mean, if I was next to my dad, I'm going to be quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was a big, booming personality with
Yeah.
a big voice.
I would just let him kind of
Yeah.
do his thing and be
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm in the background.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Not
I-
anymore, Jake.
Yeah, now I'm owning
Not anymore.
I'm owning it. I'm my own
Here
person
comes
now.
Jake
Yeah.
Marcus, people.
I'm in my own 2 feet. I
That's
can do
right.
this.
That's right.
But no, I'm thankful for everything that he's kind of paved the way for me. I wouldn't be here without him, with my parents generally.
Yeah.
Well, literally.
Yeah.
But
Right.
But they've been, they're awesome.
But they've been very helpful in
Right.
supporting and getting me to get to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just being away from them
Yeah.
in a way
Right.
kind of helped me kind of realize, take what they used to do in Easton and
Yep.
bring it to Miami and bring
Yeah.
it to these events in Boston and bring it to my clients here. So
Super cool.
it's been a fun path and I'm excited to keep it going.
So how do our listeners find you? What's the best way you do social? What about your firm? Let us follow you.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. JMarcus2, I think is my handle.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Instagram's Facebook, Jake Marcus. And then law firm, AM Condo Law.
AM is in Alcott Marcus.
Yeah. AM Condo Law. Oh, well.
Yep.
I don't know if I can. There's a photo that will show. I think it
Yes.
has the website on the back. And then my email is jake@amcondolaw.com.
There it is.
Any questions on condos, feel free to reach out. I'll see if I can help.
If we get arrested, can we call you?
I don't have the get out of jail free card.
Got it, like your dad did.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But I might have some criminal attorneys.
Got it.
All right.
Also, I'm wondering if I win the lottery big time, do I come to you guys? I'll need an attorney.
Oh, yeah. Probably not us, but we could get you
Okay.
an accountant or someone.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Go on the
We'll need
witness.
someone to accept on our behalf and create a blind trust.
Yeah. Witness protection program.
Well, I'm not that far, but
There you go.
I've been thinking about this.
All right.
If I
Once you
then
win.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Just put a lot of money on Miami Hurricanes to
That's
win the
right.
national title this year.
Miami Hurricanes.
I'm
all
telling
right.
you. They're the team.
You heard it
They'll
here
beat
first.
USF this weekend.
You think so?
Yeah, we can do a friendly bet. I'll give you like 15 points too.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm in, Jake.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Jake, you're so fabulous.
No,
Yeah.
this was
Thanks
awesome.
for coming.
I appreciate you guys having me. This was awesome and really do appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.